Ariel, always great to have you on the show. And we're going to start with, I believe, a K prop in the Cardinals game.
Good morning to both of you. I hope you guys are having a great Thursday. I know Chelsea's already beating the books, and it's not even 8:30 a.m. here on the East Coast. I'm going with this Cardinals starting pitcher, Dakota Hudson, under 3.5 strikeouts to start today. This is a 1:05 p.m. Eastern time, first pitch. The New York Mets have the 8th lowest K rate in baseball, second lowest against right-handed pitchers. Righties are 8 and 18 over under their K props. They're averaging 3.5 strikeouts per start. Hudson's K prop at 3.5. He's only gone over this number against Kansas City, which he did go over in both games against the Royals. He went over it against Arizona, who is one of the higher K rate teams in baseball. And he went over against the Cincinnati Reds, another team that has a top 10 K rate. Maybe he just pitches well against the Royals because the Royals do have a lower K rate around the league, yet the Mets have one of the lowest. So I'm going with the under at just minus 112 for Dakota Hudson, 3.5 strikeouts.
All right, before we move on, I need to make a PSA. These lines will move. So if you're listening to this segment and you think, oh, I can put in these bets later, don't. Do it right now because as we've seen, especially with strikeout props, these lines are going to move. So the faster, the better. The early bird definitely gets the worm when it comes to strikeout props. So Ariel, looking at a prop for Marcus Stroman, is there some value in a play on him today?
There is value, Chelsea, because the over 4.5 strikeouts on the Chicago Cubs right-hander Marcus Stroman is only at minus 102 at the moment. Arizona has the third highest K rate, fourth highest against right-handed pitchers. In fact, their K rate goes up from 24.5% to 25%. Righties, they're 17 and 6 over under their K props this year when up against Arizona. Stroman has gone over 4.5. He just did it against Milwaukee. He had 7 against Tampa Bay. He had 6 against Arizona last year in 6 innings pitched. I like his over at just minus 102. Marcus Stroman at 4.5.
To Ariel Epstein, the prop queen. Make sure you find her on Twitter at Ariel Epstein and check her out on MLB Network's pregame spread. That is today at 5 o'clock with Mac Vasgersian. One more prop that you like, a strikeout prop, I believe, is with Zach Gallen, Ariel.
Zach Gallen over 5.5 strikeouts. The Arizona right-handed pitcher is getting the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs have the second highest K rate in baseball and the highest when up against the righty. Righty pitchers 13 and 10 over under their K prop this year up against the Chicago Cubs. Gallen already went over this once against the Cubs. He had 9 in his last outing. It does scare me a bit that he's facing them back to back. However, he already went over 5.5 now back to back games. He also had 7 against Chicago last year and 5 against them last year in just 4 innings pitched. If he can just manage Gallen to stay in the game for about 5 innings, he should be able to get this strikeout prop of over 5.5. This is also the one that I was joking about with Chelsea because Chelsea and I were talking about this before the show. Chelsea was talking about how Gallen was minus 122 just about a couple of hours ago. Gallen is now at minus 150 to go over 5.5. So it's getting to that point now where it's going to be a little bit too much juice for me to have to lay. I don't like laying anything more than minus 150 on a prop.
Yeah, for sure, because that juice will get you. But Zach Gallen has been great for the Diamondbacks. I think he's an underrated pitcher because he plays for the Diamondbacks, so not a lot of eyes on him, but certainly a guy with plus stuff. Let's switch gears to the NBA because we do have a great game on tonight between the Celtics and the Heat. I think Jenks and I are both on the same side here, thinking maybe the Celtics have a better effort in this one. How do you think Celtics Heat goes tonight?
I like the Boston Celtics. The points already are moving in their favor from plus 4.5 to plus 3.5. A little nervous because the size isn't fully there. They are without their center, Al Horford, who's in health and safety protocols. The thing is, overall in this series, the Celtics are going to get stronger, they're going to get healthier, and they're going to get better. They're going to go back home, and they're going to have a really nice home court advantage, even though they are day-to-day with Marcus Smart. However, I still like the Celtics to even just win the series. I like them at plus 125 to win the series. They've been the best defensive team in basketball the second half of the year. They've played the best basketball of anybody the second half of the year. I know that it's going to be really tough for the Heat it's going to be tough for the Celtics to have to go without Jimmy Butler, or stop Jimmy Butler, who's played the best basketball of anybody in the playoffs so far. The thing is, it scares me that the rest of this Heat team just hasn't stepped up. There hasn't been anybody else. I mean, Tyler Hero's come off the bench and put up some decent points, but there really hasn't been a key playmaker, a number 2 starter to really catapult this Heat team to the next level. Whereas the Celtics have so many defensive weapons, and then you've got Jason Tatum, that they're able to get those second chance points with a bunch of rebounds. You've got 2 centers that can rebound the ball really well. I just am fearful for the Heat that they're not showing me exactly what I want to see out of a championship contender, and that's enough weapons offensively to stop the Celtics defense, in addition to getting all those boards, because Jimmy Butler is really the only one stepping up on the boards. Bam Adebayo has been shut down by the Boston big men.
Ariel, you just said Jimmy Butler has been stepping up as far as rebounding is concerned, and you like one of his props there tonight.
I'm going with the over 7.5 rebounds on the Heat All-Star Jimmy Butler. It was at plus 100 last I saw it. Butler's gone over this in 7 out of 11 playoff games. 17 Milwaukee players in the 7 games that Milwaukee faced off with Boston went over 7.5 rebounds. 17 players in 7 games. That is a huge mismatch there. And even though the Boston Celtics have some really big men, they've been doing a good job at stopping the Heat center Bam Adebayo from grabbing boards. It's been Jimmy Butler who's had to step up. I like his over 7.5 rebounds.
There's a reason we call you the prop queen. And Ariel, I think there's more props you like in this game. Lay them on us.
The other prop that I like in this game is for the Boston center, Robert Williams, to go over 9.5 rebounds at plus 105. It's also definitely worth sprinkling on the double-double at plus 260. Without the center for the Celtics, Al Horford, in game 1, Williams already had 9 rebounds. He had 7 and 10 in the regular season against Miami, and that was with Horford. Without Horford all season, now I think it was 11 games, Williams averaged 12.5 points, just under 11 rebounds, and just over 2 assists per game without Horford. I love the double-double. I already put some money on it for plus 260. If you're averaging a double-double without a certain player and you just played your first game without him, as long as Horford is in health and safety protocol still, which I think he's supposed to be, according to the reports, he's doubtful for tonight's game, I'm going to go bet that double-double and the over 9.5 rebounds on Robert Williams.
Ariel, before we let you go here, I think you still have some value depending on who you pick to win the NBA Finals. I believe the Warriors are the favorites. Are you on Golden State?
Instead of being on just Golden State, I'm going to combine who I really believe is going to be in the NBA Finals, and that's the Golden State Warriors with the Boston Celtics. If you take that combo, you get it at plus 225 for your NBA Finals matchup. The Celtics I just went off about. I know that they defensively they're great. I do believe that they're going to get healthier and they're just going to get better. As for the Warriors, they are the better team and they have the better home court advantage. They've got really good size for defense. They have Draymond Green defensively, in addition to a center in Kevon Looney, who just grabbed like 22 boards the other day. The Mavericks don't have a big man to help themselves out. It's all about Luka Doncic, and I don't trust it. The same way with the Heat, how their point guard or their guards have, or the forwards have to step up because their centers don't have the ability to grab rebounds. That's what Luka Doncic had to do. He's had to do everything for the Mavs. The Warriors were able to shut down the MVP, Nikola Jokic. They're going to do the same thing, tire out Luka, make him decide, do you want to play offense? Do you want to play defense? We're going to shut you down, whichever one you decide to not take. The Warriors also haven't lost a playoff game at home yet. They had the second most home wins in the NBA this year behind the Phoenix Suns. I'm going with the Warriors and the Celtics to be your NBA Finals matchup at plus 225.
Ariel, before you let you go, I wanted to give you just some quick credit here because you're a great follow on social media, and I had no idea this happened, but you said that it was a couple years ago, that you and your parents helped build a studio for you so that you could do all these different hits 7 days a week. You said yes to everything, and now all of a sudden you have a daily show on MLB Network and you're doing things all over the place. Could you have imagined back then that you'd be doing this right now?
No, Jenks. I mean, I never had a backup plan. I've always loved what I do. Everyone said, oh, well, it's TV and working in sports broadcasting doesn't work out. What do you do? I said, what do you mean? It's going to work out. I just always dreamt about it. But to know that a pandemic came in, and if you would have told me that when I left the Sports Grid studios in 2020 for the last time, that I would have next time been in a studio at MLB Network, I would have said, what on earth are you talking about? How am I going to do that through a pandemic? My parents have helped me a ton throughout my career. My childhood bedroom was absolutely destroyed from the green screens and the different setups that we had. And I had a million holes in the wall from different backgrounds that we had throughout the years. My mom finally redid the room. So congratulations to Mom that it doesn't look like a complete hot mess anymore. The bed was moved over to the side. I had to squeeze out of my bed because the studio took up so much space. It was all worth it though, because I'm living the dream.